Bud Spencer and Terence Hill, the greatest buddy comedy duo ever. Most likely, yes. I don't know how many movies they have made together, but it's a lot. And as a kid, I think I've seen all their movies. And whenever they were on TV, I watched them because they were so entertaining. It was so fun.
There has never been another duo quite like Bud Spencer and Terence Hill. Through a long series of films, they became international superstars, influenced generations of viewers, and
really international? I mean, I know 100% Germany. People of my generation love these guys, especially him. Their movies were always on TV, and people just loved them. Always.
earned cult status around the world. Their movies still radiate an infectious positivity that makes them almost impossible not to love. In this video, I want to talk about their films, why they still work today, and why I genuinely believe that they are the greatest buddy comedy duo that ever lived. I'm not going to go through all of their movies, there is no point. If you enjoy even one or two Spencer Hill films, you will end up hunting the rest down on your own, and trust me, you won't be disappointed. If you're not familiar with their work and want a good place to start, I would recommend Ace High, also known as Revenge in El Paso. It was only their second time sharing the screen, but it's the first time where the true Spencer Hill dynamic really comes into focus. It's far less cartoony than their later movies and firmly rooted in spaghetti western tradition popularized by Sergio Leone with direction by Giuseppe Colizzi. By the way, he directed a whole trilogy, all starring Bud and Terence with different co-stars. The story is gritty and genuinely fun. I won't spoil it here, but it's a strong, well-written screenplay. The tone is more serious, with real consequences and people actually dying, yet the core dynamics are already fully formed. The bickering, the getting fed up.
I don't remember this movie. From 1968. Oh, Jesus. Oh, boy. Yeah, I totally don't remember this movie. I wonder why. I'm sure I've seen it, but I can absolutely not remember this. I might have seen it once as a kid, and that's it.
The sudden bursts of violence, and underneath it all, a deep unspoken understanding between the characters.
Okay, that scene.
The sudden bursts of violence, and underneath it all,
I remember that. I absolutely remember that. Okay, I have seen it. Absolutely. 100% I have seen this movie. Because of this scene, I remembered it. But I remember nothing else. Just that slap in that scene. Yeah, I absolutely saw this movie. Ah, lovely. Yeah. Man, I'm happy now. I'm happy. Really happy. I go over here so you can read.
A deep unspoken understanding between the characters.
Like you said, it's gonna be child's play.
Leave it to me. Preparados!
Leave it to me, huh?
Buddy, I didn't force you to come.
And it also stars Eli Wallach. So even if you're not sold on Bud Spencer and Terence Hill just yet, there is at least a familiar, iconic face to ease you in. It's a highly entertaining film and a perfect entry point into their world. Because it is a world, a cinematic universe. And here's why.
Oh yeah, I agree. Oh my god, yeah, I remember this one. Oh, that was so good. One shared cinematic universe. Yeah, absolutely. Man, I miss those movies. They were so fun to watch as a kid. And I hope they still are. My only problem is the dubbing. And yes, of course, in Germany, we have dubs. Of course we have. And I kind of can't get over the dubs anymore. Because now as an adult, I see that and I'm like, I hear that and I'm like, oh no, oh no. You know? Because it's that bad. It's that bad. I especially have that now when I see a American movie or show on a German streaming site and it's dubbed and I'm like, disgusting. Why? And then I listen to the original and it sounds nothing like that. And they sometimes even say completely different things. It's horrible.
The secret sauce is quite simple, clear and consistent dynamics. Bud Spencer never needed to be fast. He was the wall. Terence Hill never needed to be strong. He was the spark.
Hi.
Damnation, ain't you glad to see your own brother?
Their roles are crystal clear. Bud absorbs chaos, Terence redirects it. And that clarity is exactly why the comedy lands every single time. If you've seen even one of their films, you instantly understand the relationship. There is nothing to figure out, no shifting.
This movie was fun too. I have no idea where they shot it. I think in Africa somewhere. Man, I think they doubled for rich people, right? That's how it was. I mean, they played the rich people and did their doubles. And they got switched out and then hilarity ensued. It was fun. It was fun to watch. And look back here, you can see these aren't extras. They are actually workers. that look there. What's going on here? Oh, that's also something really charming of old movies. Just random people on the ground looking at the actors and the film crew. It's great.
Power balance, no confusion. It's simple, consistent, and rock solid. Even their acting style reinforces this. Their posture, body language, and overall demeanor tell you everything you need to know before they even say a word. They embody these characters completely, stripped down to their essence. They can be outlaws in the Wild West, drifters who accidentally join the police force and end up solving crimes, or secret agents, again by mistake, taking down epic villains. They are castaway treasure hunters, smugglers in South America, doppelgangers of millionaire moguls in Rio de Janeiro, buggy racers, or wildlife tour guides in Africa. The settings change, the costumes change, but the core elements always stay the same. And yes,
and that's good. Never change a running system. If it works, it works, and it worked very well. Blackie the Pirate. I don't remember this movie at all.
They essentially play the same characters in every movie, and some people use that as criticism, calling them one-dimensional. But here's my take. If something works, the audience loves it, the actors clearly enjoy doing it, and it is actually something truly special, why change it? Why force reinvention just to satisfy a handful of film snob critics who were never going to enjoy a Spencer Hill movie in the first place? There is no point. These films don't need reviews. They need people watching them, and that's exactly what they got.
Yeah. I completely agree. That's why their movies are so good.
These movies are full of action, fights, stunts, and endless brawls, with people constantly getting knocked around. And yet there is no blood, no nasty injuries, nobody dies. At first, you might see an occasional tooth flying out after a particularly heavy punch. That was important, because these films were made for everyone to enjoy, kids included.
In your pictures...
Oh yeah, and I can tell you, as a kid, I loved these movies. They were so incredibly fun for kids. Oh my god, they were so good. So good. Sit a kid in front of one of these movies and they will be entertained for 90 minutes. And then they will tell their friends. And then they watch the movies together. It's awesome. They are the perfect movies for light entertainment. They're just good. Good, fun movies.
Nobody gets killed. There's no real blood. Is that something important to you?
Yeah, it's very important to us.
Terence and I
We don't like the violence, and for this reason our violence is comic violence.
This isn't violence in the usual sense, it's
Yes.
physical comedy, very much rooted in the vaudeville and silent film traditions. Everything is exaggerated and over the top, props become weapons, bodies fly through the air, and faces and expressions do half the storytelling.
Yes, and let's go something.
Silent film traditions, everything is exaggerated and over the top, props
Do I have to say it? These guys were shit that today is just fetish clothes. And those were the bad guys, the pirates in this movie. Today, you see this shit on Christopher Street Day and the certain clubs. Isn't that funny? And yes, that movie also was great fun. It was really, really fun. 1981, man, 1 year before I was born.
become weapons, bodies fly through the air, and faces and expressions do half the storytelling. What really stands out though is how beautifully choreographed these fights are. You can tell a huge amount of work went into planning and rehearsing them, getting every beat exactly right. It's almost like a dance, with everyone knowing their role and moving in perfect sync with the others.
Neil, the filthy.
That takes real skill and a lot of endurance, especially
yeah.
when you're doing it all with a smile. Even their fighting moves became iconic. Butt's downward head punch, the whole gang piling onto him, only for him to casually toss everyone aside at once. Terrence
Yeah.
handing a random object to a bad guy mid-fight, confusing him for just a second, and then BAM! And you were waiting for these moments, and when they finally happened, everyone cheered. The sound effects are just as important as the choreography. Every punch lands with an exaggerated crack.
Ready?
Every hit is under.
It is stupid. It completely is stupid. But it's so fun. And that's why it's good. All the way, boys. Oh god. It sounds like a porn title. A gay porn title. Jesus. Yeah. It's so good to watch this. Man, this is making me really happy. Really, really happy.
Underlined by booming, almost musical impacts, deep, cymbal-like sounds that suggest catastrophic damage without ever making it feel real. It's completely over the top, perfectly timed, and unmistakably cartoonish.
Yeah, this is great.
These sounds don't just sell the hits, they tell you how to feel, turning what could have been violent into something rhythmic, funny, and instantly recognizable. If we are talking about the fights, we have to talk about the bad guys. They are constantly misjudging situations, getting in way over their heads. And innovatively
This is
ending
great.
up beaten to a pulp in every single movie. And we can't wait for it to happen, because they deserve it, and because watching karma catch up with these guys is just part of the fun. Sure, they usually do something evil to justify it, but the details almost don't matter here. Their real purpose is to be tossed around, knocked out, and taught a lesson over and over again. What's especially funny is that many of these bad guys were recurring faces. Bud Spencer and Terence Hill worked
Really? Were they? I never recognized that when I was a child. Which is, I mean, I was a child. Of course I don't. Of course I don't.
with a familiar group of character actors throughout their careers, and those faces become part of the ensemble almost as much as the leads themselves. Some of them even switch sides occasionally, playing a good guy for a film or two, but in the end, we remember them as the baddies, the ones we love seeing show up and loved even more seeing get smashed. Just like the recurring faces among the bad guys, there are also plenty of recurring gags and situations throughout these films, like the fighting moves I have already mentioned earlier. For example, there is a constant presence of playing cards and gambling, and yet somehow they always come out on top morally, even when they are cheating, bluffing, or bending the rules.
Of course. I mean, they are the heroes. Of course they come out on top. Of course. They have to. They're the good guys.
And of course, it doesn't hurt that they are pretty good at cards.
If you got the money to pay, I'll give you a plate of beans.
One of the most consistent running jokes is connected to food. Cooking it, protecting it, and most importantly, eating it. The beans and onions that show up in movie after movie are legendary, but their relationship with food goes far beyond a single.
Really? The beans with onions is a reoccurring thing? I never noticed. Well, I was a child. Of course I didn't notice. Of course I didn't. It's so interesting. Guess I have to rewatch them all.
Gag. Eating in these films is almost sacred. There is a recurring joke where Bud keeps eating even as a full-blown bar fight erupts behind him, and he only gets upset and finally gets involved when someone touches his food. That's the one line you don't cross. At that point, the violence becomes not just expected, but completely justified.
Of course.
Beans and onions. I like beans and onions.
The beans and onions again. Oh, of course. Odds and Evens, 1978. Jesus.
Sorry, pal, they're mine.
Bud loves his food. You can't argue with that.
Well, yeah.
There is also a wonderful scene where they finally sit down together at a big table to eat, yet they keep eyeing each other as
I remember this film. I remember this scene. Oh, yes. It's Trinity is still my name. I think it's the same where he was wearing the fur before and punched the guy. I think it is. Is it not? It's not. I was wrong. But I remember this film. I remember this scene very vividly. I remember this. Oh, yeah. I do. Great movie, I think. It's over 20 years ago.
if one of them is about to steal the other's food. It's pure instinct, that natural, almost animal awareness you have when eating alongside someone else. Next time you're having a meal in a group, try not to look at the others. You won't be able to do it. These films take that simple, universal instinct and turn it into a perfectly timed, hilarious scene, with both of them even trying to hide their food from each other. What really makes these moments work is how enjoyable it is to watch them eat. You can genuinely feel how much they are enjoying it. Food is life, after all, and sharing a good meal is one of the most relatable human pleasures there is. That warmth carries straight through the screen. And of course, you get really hungry. The jokes in these films are different too. Yes, they are safe and kid-friendly, but not in a lazy or sanitized way. What's really striking is what they don't rely on.
Yes, they are kid-friendly, but there's always something for adults too. It's just, you know, a little hidden. A little bit hidden.
There are no jokes built on discrimination, no cruelty, no cheap shots.
Hey, watch out! You could have choked yourself.
Bud Spencer was a big man, and it would have been incredibly easy to turn him into the butt of endless fat jokes, but they never did. His size is never something to laugh at, it's simply part of who he is.
Which is good.
They also avoid the kind of gross-out humor that often passes for...
Oh, by the way, Bud Spencer was an Olympic athlete. I don't remember what. I think it was. He was a fighter. Judo or something, or wrestling, something like that. And he won I think a gold medal at the Olympics in his youth. I'm not sure though. It's a while ago since I heard that. But yeah, he was an athlete. He was an athlete and he was a lawyer. And yes, he was a lawyer. Or at least he studied law and got a degree. And then he went and made movies like this. I'm for the Hippopotamus. This movie was great. if you are a kid and you like animals, you will like this movie. You will, absolutely. 100%. This was one of my most favorite movie of those two. Absolutely. Oh my god, it was so good.
Comedy, especially in family films. No fart jokes, no vomit jokes, no bathroom humor. Not because they were being careful, but because they simply didn't need it. The humor comes from character, timing and physicality, and human behavior. From pride, stubbornness, friendship and irritation. Things everyone recognizes. That's why the jokes still work today. They are sincere, warm and deeply human. They never punch down, they never humiliate their characters, and they never ask the audience to laugh at someone's expense. Instead, they invite you to laugh with them. And that kind of humor doesn't age, because it was never mean to begin with. And this ties right into the next amazing thing about these films, which is the positivity that radiates from them. And it's not the black and white, preachy kind of positivity, it's genuine human warmth. The good guys always win, the bad guys always get what they deserve, and friendship is strong enough to overcome any obstacle. These movies never try to hit you over the head with a message. At their core, they are simply about being decent to others, sticking by your friends and trying to get along. But they also understand something very human.
I can absolutely agree with that. Absolutely, yes. I can't remember any movie of them where that would not be the case. Even if both of the characters get into a fight with each other, they always come back together because, you know, they are friends, and at the end they like each other. Even when they are angry at each other, sometimes that doesn't matter. At the end, they are friends.
If someone steps on your toe, it's perfectly okay to get mad. There is nothing hypocritical about that. The values are clear, easy to grasp, and completely honest. So much so that even as an 8-year-old, I understood them without any effort. Another great strength of these films is that adults and kids can watch them together. They are true bonding movies. What's funny is that both age groups end up enjoying pretty much the same things: the jokes, the bickering, the action. It's not like today, where kids' movies often rely on the occasional wink-wink adult joke just to keep the parents awake. These films work both ways. Of course, watching them as an adult, I now laugh at different details, and there are jokes.
Of course, that's normal. That's absolutely normal. Of course you do, because you understand more things. Because of your life experience.
Clearly aimed at grown-ups, but the point is this: Bud Spencer and Terence Hill movies were genuinely made for everyone and could be enjoyed by anyone, no matter the age. In the US, the UK and most English-speaking countries, Bud Spencer and Terence Hill were never quite as big as they were in countries where their films were dubbed, and I think a big part of that comes down to the English version simply not working so well. Even when some of these films were shot in English and later redubbed, so the lip movements should technically line up, something still feels off.
Why don't you take care of it afterwards?
No, this time we'll do it our way. But you got something against that?
For me, watching them in English is a clear downgrade compared to the dub versions I grew up with, and subtitles don't really solve the issue here. Because in these films, it's not so much what is being said that matters, but how it's being said. The rhythm, the timing and the delivery is a huge part of the comedy, the characters, and that can easily get lost.
Yes, absolutely. In dubbing, a lot can get lost. Oh my god, it's not even a question. I mean, if you watch anime, you know that very well. Oh my god, so much is getting lost in the dubbed versions of anime. Oh no, it's really bad.
In countries where dubbing has always been common, there is a long tradition behind it. Voice actors, translators and dubbing directors developed a real craft around adapting performances, not just translating dialogue. Here in Hungary, voice actors were practically stars in their own right, their names were widely known, and specific voices became strongly associated with specific actors.
Same as in Germany. For example, I grew up with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Bruce Willis having very distinct voices, and the voice actors changed for some reasons with both of them, and it's not the same. It's not the same. Absolutely not. I prefer the old voice actors. from the 80s and 90s, early to mid 90s. They were better. Oh well, maybe not better, but they sound more fitting, at least to me. But then again, I grew up with the old ones, and you never like the new ones. Also, the same happened with The Simpsons. The voice actors for The Simpsons in the German dub changed a lot of times. Yeah, it's not the same.
You didn't just recognize the face, you recognized the voice. Hearing the same voice actor over and over again created a sense of continuity, and it felt familiar.
Exactly.
That was also true for Spencer Hill films. Their Hungarian dubbing voices stayed mostly consistent throughout the years, but Spencer's Hungarian voice, for example, was provided by István Bújtor, who not only sounded similar, but even looked a bit like him. Bújtor loved these films so much that he went on to create his own series in Hungary, clearly inspired by the Spencer Hill formula. His films focus more on crime stories than investigations, but the physical comedy and character dynamics are unmistakably familiar.
Nice.
And they were hugely popular here in Hungary when they came out.
Man, now I wanna watch them.
It's a great example of how strong and adaptable this formula really is. So, I'm a fan, no question about it. I grew up watching these films from around the age of 8. Back then there was no internet, no cable, and very limited choice. If a Spencer Hill movie was on TV, the entire country had seen it.
Yes.
And the next day, in primary school, the whole class would reenact scenes from the film we had watched the night before. During recess,
yes.
Kids were fake punching each other, dramatically falling over, and just having a blast. Good times. Later, when the films came out on DVD, I started buying them so I could comfort watch them whenever I wanted. I own all the movies they made together, plus a good number of their solo films. I have both of their biography books, which are fantastic by the way, and I have played Slaps and Beans 1 and 2, the beat 'em up.
Wait. There was a video game? Oh my god, that's great.
Up games inspired by their films. Both are a lot of fun, especially if you love this world. I still rewatch at least a few of their movies every year. That's where my fandom ends. But the fan base itself is massive and wonderfully creative.
Yeah,
There are
I can
still
believe that.
regular screenings where fans gather to watch the films together. There are Spencer Hill themed summer camps, look-alike contests, cooking competitions, and even tribute bands that dress like them and play music from their most iconic movies. You will see people wearing meme shirts with their faces on them, hear ringtones using music from their films in public, and catch people casually quoting lines from their movies. It's almost like a secret handshake, a way of recognizing kindred spirits. Spencer Hill fandom makes it easy to start conversations, and it genuinely feels like if someone loves these films, they probably can't be a bad person. And that's just what I see here in Hungary. They have a huge fan base in other Eastern European countries, in Germany, and who knows where else.
Yeah. True,
Both
very
Bud
true.
Spencer and Terence Hill made a large number of projects on their own, and some of them are almost as enjoyable as their films together. One of Terence Hill's most iconic solo roles is in My Name is Nobody.
Yeah, I watched that movie a couple of times when I was a kid. Really enjoyed it. Just like the films together, of course. This is such a throwback to my childhood. To the good parts of it.
Officially, it's a spaghetti western directed by Tonino Valeri, but legend has it that Sergio Leone was far more involved than credited. Leone co-wrote the film, served as executive producer, and reportedly stepped in to direct several key scenes. The result is a fantastic, playful western with Henry Fonda in a memorable co-starring role. In 1980, Hill starred in Superfuzz, playing a police officer who gains superpowers after a bizarre accident with radiation and uses them to fight crime. It's light, goofy, and very much on brand for him. He also played Lucky.
I see that movie too, and even this one. All right, Lucky Luke. I remember this movie, barely. I've seen it maybe twice. It wasn't one of his best movies.
Luke in the 1991 feature film, which he also directed and later starred in the Lucky Luke TV series for one season. Over the years, Hill has directed several of his own films, further shaping his on-screen persona behind the camera as well. Since 2000, he has starred in the long-running Italian TV series Don Matteo, which is now heading into its 16th season. In the show, Hill plays a Catholic priest who solves crimes, a surprisingly perfect fit. Bud Spencer's Piadona film series, which is also known as Flatfoot in English-speaking countries, was perfectly on brand, though a bit...
Oh my god, yes, I remember. Oh, this was one of my most watched and most favorite movies of him. Oh my god, I remember this one. This is, oh my god, this is, oh, my heart. My heart, oh my god, this is so good. I love it. I love this.
Grittier than his collaborations with Terence Hill. In these films, he plays Inspector Rizzo, nicknamed Piadone, a no-nonsense detective who solves crimes with his fists on the streets of Naples. There are 4 films in total, and over the course of the series, he even takes his brand of justice to Egypt, Hong Kong, and Africa, sharing the screen with actors like Robert.
Oh, they were different movies. Okay. Okay. Man, it's kind of weird how these movies all mush together in my memory. It's really weird. And then finding out that they are different movies. Man. Well, I guess that happens if you don't watch the movies completely as a kid and, you know, you're switching through the channels and then, oh, Bud Spencer movie. Let's watch this. And it's already half done. Yeah, things like that happen.
Loggia and Al Lettieri. He also starred in a 2-part family-friendly sci-fi comedy where he plays a sheriff who befriends a child who turns out to be an alien. It's kid-friendly fun once again and very much in line with his screen persona. Beyond that,
I think I've watched that movie almost 10 times as a kid. It's so dumb. But yeah, for kids, that movie is really, really nice.
Spencer made a long list of solo films built around the same familiar dynamic. The big, calm enforcer paired with various partners, always playing a variation of the character audiences already loved. Later on, he starred in his own Italian TV series, Detective Extra Large, where he once again solves crimes, but this time alongside Philip Michael Thomas from Miami Vice and Michael Winslow from the Police Academy series. It's a wonderfully strange but fitting combination.
By the love of God, half of me wants to say, why did I never watch this? And half of me wants to say, I remember this vaguely. But I have no idea if I have actually watched this as a kid. And if not, my question is, why? Why would I have not watched this? I must have watched at least something of it. I'm kind of confused here.
Bud Spencer passed away in 2016 at the age of 86. Terence Hill, on the other hand, is still with us and remains active in film and television, continuing to work well into his 80s. If you look at where their legacy lives on today, you can see echoes of it, but very rarely the full picture. Jackie Chan is probably the clearest successor when it comes to physical comedy and safe, readable violence. His films treat action as choreography, timing and rhythm, not brutality. Very much in the same spirit, even if the pain is usually his own.
Why would he go to Jackie Chan? Jackie Chan made movies already while Bud Spencer and Terence Hill were making their movies. Why would he go there? I've watched Jackie Chan movies in the 80s and 90s. I loved them. I really did. Oh my god. I remember one specific movie with a bald Asian dude that was a cop. And Jackie Chan also was a cop. There was a Chinese woman that was... I totally had a crush on her. Oh my god, she was so hot. And I was like 10. No, not even 10. Totally had a crush on that chick. Oh my god, she was so attractive, so beautiful. Oh my god. Yeah. But why is he going there? Why? I don't understand that reasoning.
The Three Stooges remake tried to revive classic slapstick for modern audiences, and while it understood the mechanics, it also showed how difficult it is to make this kind of humor work today without irony or distance. And in animation, films like Kung Fu Panda arguably come closest to capturing the full balance: physical comedy, moral clarity, warmth, and violence that's exciting but never really cruel. In today's cinema, violence is usually either brutally realistic or ironic and over the top. Comedy, meanwhile, is often verbal, self-aware, and built around winks and commentary rather than physicality. Sincerity has become risky, something studios seem genuinely afraid of.
Yeah,
There
I
is
wanna
just
buy.
nothing like Bud Spencer and Terence Hill out there today. They remain something special. Their dynamic was simple, clear, and completely sincere. They never competed, never undercut each other, and never needed to reinvent themselves to stay relevant. One was the wall, the other the spark, and that balance never broke. That's why their films still work today. Not because of nostalgia alone, but because they are built on universal instincts: friendship, fairness, pride, irritation, and joy. They trusted physical storytelling, respected their audience, and believed that comedy didn't need to be mean to be funny. And maybe that's the real reason they lasted. In a world where so much comedy is ironic, cynical, and disposable, Bud Spencer and Terence Hill offered something rare: honesty, warmth, and a simple pleasure of watching two people who understand each other perfectly. And for me, that's what makes them the greatest buddy comedy duo ever to grace the screen. Thank you, Bud and Terence, for giving us something this special. And I could just talk about so much more when it comes to these films: the recurring directors who each put their own stamp on them while still keeping everything within the same universe, the endless lineup of great co-stars they had over the years, the unforgettable music, or even the bad guys themselves. There are just so many memorable faces there. So if you would like to see more deep dives like this into Bud Spencer and Terence Hill movies, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.
Man, this was so good. Oh, this was lovely. Thank you for this video. Oh my god. I kind of feel like crying out of happiness, man. Oh, this is so good. So good. Oh, I love it. Great video. Great video.